Good afternoon. Welcome to 30 Frames a Second. I'm your host, Greg Lassiter. We have a great show for you today, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be very informative.
Good evening, everyone. Nicholas Heyward Sr. I'm the father of 13-year-old honest student Nicholas Jr. He was murdered by NYPD on September 24, 1994. These raids didn't just start today. This is something that's been going on for years, decades. In 1993, when Nicholas was 12 years old, he was falsely arrested by NYPD in the Gowanus houses. A group of police came running into the Gowanus houses chasing the youth. One of the youth came running over in our direction and the officer tackled that youth right in front of me, Nicholas' mother, and my sister. We had a little dog that started barking. The officer pulled out his gun and pointed it at us and said, "Get your dog off and shoot him." I grabbed the dog and brought it in the house. I came back out. This same officer walked back over to us, pointing that gun in Nicholas' face. Remember, he was 12 years old. We didn't do absolutely anything. We're just standing there observing what was going on. They arrested Nicholas that day, took him to the precinct, put him in the lineup. I mean, that was such a painful act. Nicholas's character at the age of 12, he was very knowledgeable about the corruption of the system. He was very knowledgeable about the history of America. And he was very outspoken. And when he was in that precinct, he kept telling the police he didn't do absolutely anything. The police told him if he don't shut his mouth, they're going to stick this gun up his butt and pull the trigger. They also told Nicholas that he would not live to be, because his mouth, the way he was speaking, he said he wouldn't live to be 15 years. The very next year, they murdered Nicholas. Nicholas was playing the game of cops and robbers with some youth. They all had plastic, colorful toy guns. None of the guns was anything close to the real gun. Then in office with Brooklyn District Attorney Charles Hines, who failed to indict you. This is another thing we need to understand. There's no investigations going on against these damn police.
That's right.
The only thing they doing is covering up.
That's right.
Covering up for these damn police to get off. The police are the real criminals out here. That is something we need to understand. NYPD are criminals. They attack the poor and people of color. And if you understand and know the history of America, you will know that they are all corrupt. Every last one of them standing out here around us. Especially the black and Latino police officers. Yes! They should be ashamed of their damn self, knowing all of the struggles that our ancestors have been through in order for them to even hold a job that they are holding right now.
Sure.
It was because of our ancestors fighting their struggles as to why a black cop is a cop, why a black elected official is an elected official. Our ancestors fought, died, and struggled for us. And we must continue that fight and that struggle. Thank you.
Frames a second. We have a lot to talk about today, and who do I have sitting across from me? No other than the man, the creator himself, Nat Wood.
What's up,
What's
brother?
up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm fabulous, bro. You know what? I wake up, day above ground is a good day.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Yes, it is.
And
Yes,
FAA is not knocking on my door. It's a good day. But listen, Nicholas Heyward Jr., Sr.
Yeah, that was the father.
That was the father.
Yeah, he passed
He just passed away.
New Year's Eve, this past New Year's Eve.
His son was, that case, that shooting was legendary in 1994.
That is correct. And Nicholas Heyward Sr. actually is one of, if not the most prominent predecessors of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
I mean, he is the Black Lives
Right.
Matter movement.
Before
As a
the
matter
Black
of fact-
Lives Matter came.
Well, right. The organization Stolen Lives was built around him and other victims of
Police brutality.
dying at the hands of the police. I'm trying to be a little.
It was police brutality because I see where his son had got picked up the week before he died.
Yeah.
The week before he died.
Yeah.
In a lineup, he was 12,
Yeah.
which was devastating. That should be devastating and scary for anybody.
Yeah.
Now, a 12-year-old, it just changes your whole outlook on life. And when they said you won't live to be 15, the next week, he died, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would classify Nicholas Heyward Jr.'s death as police brutality in the classic sense that we see police brutality, but certainly it represents police indifference to the lives of black people. That's why I say it's the precursor of Black Lives Matter, because he was victimized by an indifference to the lives of black people. He was only 13 years old.
Right.
And the courts never
Indicted?
they said they didn't have sufficient evidence to
Okay, now give our
charge
viewers
your-
a little bit of background about Nicholas Heyward Jr., about how that happened, because they were going to play cops and robbers or whatever.
They were playing cops and robbers. They were kids. And if you notice in the opening, his father was standing there with the toy gun, with the little plastic toy gun. So any talk about this thing looking like a real weapon
Right.
is ridiculous.
Right, it didn't even look close to a real weapon.
It had like a little orange tip on the end
right.
of it. It was a kid's little plastic.
Right.
Looked like a child's toy,
Right.
you know. And I know when I was 12 or 13, I was closer to 8 or 9 than I was to maturity and
Right.
whatnot. You know,
Playing
I
with-
still like to play with.
Yeah, because I think we did it when we were like between 7 and 9. Right?
You play with. Listen. First of all, that's a natural part of growing up.
Right.
If you've ever looked at the nature channels, National Geographic or any of those channels, you see them weaving elaborate stories from animals.
Right.
Only a person with an imagination could like make a hero and an anti-hero and name the animals and see an actual story. I mean, you have to be the kind of kid who's still a kid at heart.
Right,
Who some kids take their little soldiers and they give them names and they make you know, that's called imagination.
It's kind of brilliant, actually.
It is brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It is brilliant. And you can take that imagination and make a TV show where you videotape meerkats running to their hole.
Right.
Only a person with imagination can you know.
But that's kind of scary too, Nat. That is kind of scary because you know, they say it's a thin line between genius and insanity. When you have that kind of imagination as an adult, so you look at the Meerkat, you look at Discovery Channel where these people, like you say, it takes a wealth of imagination to film, you know, the way they put it together, how an animal lives on the Serengeti, or how an animal lives in Africa or whatever, wherever, that when you think about it, these are grown men, these are grown people. who are doing this.
Insanity is only problematic when it is a threat or a danger to others. But the insanity of creativity is a blessing to all of the world. And the insanity of creativity is the reason why we have penicillin. The insanity of...
That's right. That's actually right. Absolutely.
Insanity in and of itself is not problematic. Creativity and imagination is not a problem. The problem is, and it can be argued that any person, whether or not they are found insane or not, but any person who lives to inflict harm on other people is the definition of being totally psychopathically insane.
Yeah, but at the same time, that you look at how this is. I look at this kid. This kid would have been, Heyward Jr. would have been 38 today.
Yeah.
Well, this year, because it's been 24 years, and he was.
You know, you own your jet service to the insanity of people.
I know. I did it.
Because only
You're absolutely right.
only an insane person would say, you know.
I do. You can get in something,
Yeah.
but not only it can fly.
That little buggy thing you fly, that's cool, but you know.
But you're absolutely
look at
right.
the birds.
But you look at you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And it takes a somewhat insanity to even want to get in a plane and fly it.
It's totally insane. It's totally insane.
It takes more insane that I'm a pilot and then you want to jump out of a plane.
Totally insane.
So
Totally insane.
your point is well
right,
taken.
right. That you pay big money and
That's
and actually, like, you know, get online and get on a machine that you do not control.
Right.
You know. And just chill.
You know what?
Eat shrimp. Eat scrimp. Drink wine. You know.
You know
watch
what?
TV.
Your point is well taken. That is absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because, you know, creativity, well, I would say it's a blessing and a curse.
It is.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It is.
Because the way you just analogize, the analogy was I don't even know what to say about that. But, you know, we owe a lot of props to things that we have because of insanity, because of creativity, which could lead to, you know, look at Einstein.
Right.
You know, he was batshit crazy.
Most of the major discoveries were designed to be beneficial to humankind. A lot of times these discoveries are weaponized, corrupted and weaponized by people who are not creative, but they are, well, they're creative in the sense that they're very, very able to use creative people and make a whole lot of money subjugating other people.
Manipulative.
Manipulative.
Right, they were manipulative.
Manipulative.
We look at we have an office.
To it.
Look at we have an office.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
because if this guy didn't have wealth behind him, he would be in a padded room.
Correct.
He would be in a padded room drooling.
That is correct.
See, the interesting thing is that, and this is the way society is, if you have money and you're different, you're eccentric.
Right.
If you have no money and different, you're insane.
Right.
So that right there itself is insane.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
Because the guy that's running this country probably reads at a 7th grade level.
Oh, you're being...
being nice.
Everywhere. Right now, as we speak, there's 7th graders all over the country going... I read better than him.
But he knows nothing about politics.
Right.
He actually knows nothing about business.
Right.
He just happens to be part of the Lucky Sperm Club.
Well, we talk a lot about economics, and we're going to get in. I really want to get into some of the specifics of things that are going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of comical stuff. A lot of people think of economics as pure math.
Right.
But it's more psychology. It's more psychology than it is math. It's understanding how people operate. People don't understand that human rights and civil rights and the development of people,
Right.
and the way money operates is pretty much the same
Absolutely.
way. You move forward a little bit,
Right.
you pull
Move
back,
a little bit.
sometimes you crash.
Right, right.
you
It's
know.
the system. It's the system. It's the system.
Right,
But
right,
once
right,
you understand the system, see, you don't figure out the system,
Right.
because the system changes.
Right.
But once you if you understand the basics of the system, then you win.
There's a
You actually
phrase. Warren Buffett is all psychology.
All and there's nothing complicated about Warren
Right,
Buffett.
right, nothing.
He didn't
nothing,
invent anything.
Right, and he'll be the first one to tell you. There's a phrase that is attributed to one of the Rothschilds. Don't buy until there's blood in the streets.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with math.
Right.
That has to do with the human psychology.
Right.
Wait until the herd panics.
Right.
You
Then
know?
you buy.
Right. Then
Or
you
you
take
sell.
it all.
Right, or then you sell. Right.
But what you do is based upon how you can get the masses to react to either adversity,
Right.
or
Something
profit.
positive.
Right.
And that's all psychology.
That's all psychology. That's all psychology.
But the massive, do you know what? We always seem to look at what happened in Greece.
Right.
When Greece went under, everybody panicked. You could, if you had $10 million in the bank, you could only get out 60.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody
Do you know how much
panic.
money was generated in 2008
Right.
when everybody just like,
Yep.
you know, and by that time it was pointless.
Right.
You had already you were past the point of no return.
Right.
You either went down with the
MBSs,
ship, right? there was-
mortgage-backed securities.
Right.
Before the market crashed, people had already made their money.
Right.
Sadly to say, I did too, but
Not only that, but when the market, if you look up and you've lost half of everything you had in the blink of an eye, there's nowhere to go.
Right.
You either die on this ship or
Right.
the ship is dead anyway.
Right.
Because half of nothing, 2 times nothing is still nothing.
Nothing, right.
So if you're trying to get something before it goes to zero, well, guess what? Whatever you have when it goes to zero is zero.
But wait, but this is a little trick I learned though. If you got something and you lost 50% of it,
Right.
don't bail. You know what you do?
It's too late to bail.
Right. What you do?
Right.
Buy more.
Right.
To offset
right,
the loss.
Right.
See, people don't understand that.
Right.
I mean, in order to you can make money. The rich stay rich because they can make money in whether the market is bear, whether the market is bull.
Right.
If the market is bear, then you're selling short.
Right.
You know?
Like the song Stagger Lee said, he took my Stetson hat, I can't let it go like that.
That is exactly
right.
true. That is exactly true. Okay, we got so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Angela Davis.
Yes.
Angela Davis.
Yes, she was up for a
Civil Rights Award.
And the award was taken from her because of her position with Palestine. Somehow there's supposed to be some way that the United States, Israel, I don't know how it is, they had the Mark, I forget his name, worked at CNN. They fired him.
He got fired
because he spoke at the UN about Palestine, and they got him fired. They took the Civil Rights Award away from Angela Davis because they said she was involved in, she probably is involved in the boycotting of Israel over Palestinian rights, and they want to make that illegal.
But I want to say this to the audience, okay? I want to say this to my Jewish brethren and whatnot, sisters. Just because someone doesn't agree with your views doesn't make you anti-Semitic.
They know that.
But why you know what? It's that why is it that we all, when black people always talk about racism, you're quick to say, why is it always the black thing?
Because it's a weapon. It's a weapon. First of all, there are no black activists. Even the way you talk about Farrakhan, to the best of my knowledge, has never ever called for violence against or the eradication of any human being
At all.
There is no black activist. By definition, for me to even engage you on that level reduces me to the fact of being just like the thing I say I hate.
Right. Racism.
That is correct.
Right.
I am not a racist.
No.
I'm an anti-racist.
Right.
And racists try to make that racism so that they can continue what they're doing.
And feel good about it.
And feel, control you.
Control you,
Control,
exactly, right.
control
Right.
the way you do things.
Right, that's exactly right.
In point of fact, and it's ironic that we're talking about Palestine. You start off with Palestine because as we speak today, the UN is having a council of the G77.
Right.
Those are 77
7 countries.
Right, developing nations.
Right.
Palestine is chairing that
How did that
as
happen?
we speak.
How did that happen? But see, I don't understand. How did that happen when the Jews Israel won't let Palestine
It's
back
bigger
into
than Palestine. It's much bigger than Palestine. The things and it's part and parcel to the African American experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's part and parcel to the Central American experience, to the African experience. All of the whole issue of Palestine, the right of return,
Right.
all of this stems from resolutions that were adopted after World War II.
That's right. That's correct.
1948 to be specific.
Right.
Two of the biggest ones was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Right.
And the right of return.
Right.
Both of these stem back to 1948
Right.
after World War II.
Right.
Now, how is that germane today? Well, it's germane in Zimbabwe, where Zimbabwe was colonized.
Right.
The Congo was colonized.
Right.
Most of Africa was colonized.
Right.
And people are asserting their right to take back their lands,
Right.
have their own independence,
Right.
establish their own countries.
Right.
All of these was resolutions that was adopted in 1948.
Right.
There are also other things in play. Sanctions against different countries.
Right.
Sanctions that are starving out countries.
Right.
When
Venezuela.
Venezuela, many countries.
Right.
There are laws in place, UN laws in place that says you cannot sanction a country that prevents that country from those people from getting food
Right.
and medicine.
Right.
But sanctions in and of themselves are designed to do just that.
But wait, these are the UN has resolutions in place, but the UN is pretty useless.
There are only 2 countries, basically, that has stalemated the UN from implementing any of this stuff.
United States
And Israel.
and Israel. And the funny thing about that is that if you look at the whole Israel and the United States connection, Israel gets more aid from the United States than the United States gives aid to Israel more than any other country in the world. Now, what do we get out of that? Nothing. We can't even use their airspace.
In 1965, and this is the most unlikely statement from the most unlikely person, especially since his father was a card-carrying Nazi. John F. Kennedy said the greatest threat to freedom was imperialism.
Right. Coming from an imperialistic
An
company.
imperialist.
Right.
Like I said before, just because you're a devil don't mean you don't know you're doing devilish stuff.
It's weird that we as a group can't see white supremacy for what it is.
Right.
You know,
Right.
White supremacy. What is it that we don't want to admit it, or I just don't understand the mind thinking of why.
Well, white supremacy is convenient.
For the white supremacists.
Well, that is correct. And the white supremacist is an imperialist.
Right.
He wants to control all the resources in all the countries all the time. And the best way, the most effective way to do this is to control the hearts and minds of the masses. So white supremacy is used to control the white population as much as it is to control the Asian population,
Right.
the black population.
Anyone that's not white.
Anyone who's not white and powerful
Right.
and an imperialist.
Right. Right.
Anyone who is not the beneficiary of hegemony.
Right.
And it is very, very effective. It is so effective that we were talking about this before. You cannot work in Bollywood in India
Darker than if you're darker than you.
as dark as
Dark
I
as
am.
I am,
If
right.
you no, not darker than me.
Lighter. It gotta
If
be
you
lighter.
don't look white, if
right.
you don't look white, you cannot be in Bollywood in India, which is a country full of black-faced people.
Right. With straight hair.
Right. I defy anyone to turn on the novellas on the Spanish channel and see women that look like indigenous women
Right.
to Mexico.
Right.
They
Yeah.
look like
They're
white
women.
European.
But see, that's the mindset that people have to get out of.
Asians.
Yeah.
Not just Koreans, but
Chinese, Japanese.
Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese, Asians are adverse to their children being the slightest bit less than white
Right.
skin.
Right. That's right.
So much so that they practically disown their
Right,
own
right.
because they are as dark as J-Lo, maybe.
Right, right.
You know, I
Right,
ain't even
that's
talking
right.
about like
Right, right.
really dark, you know. But this is white supremacy that has permeated the hearts and minds of people on a global scale.
But that's scary, Nat. That's scary because the masses have bought into it.
It is necessary. Just like I,
But
just
is
like
it necessary?
I said,
Is it necessary for them? Because with the masses can control. See, it's just like, okay, white supremacy controls the masses,
Right.
just like the church,
just like Trump,
just like Trump. But the people that Trump controls, that buys into it,
are exactly the people I'm talking about. He controls white people, and he controls them by using their fear of people who are not white.
right?
And that keeps him in power. He uses that power to make deals in
Backdoor deals, yeah.
all over the world,
Right.
global deals, in places like Central America,
Right.
in places like Russia,
Right.
all over the world.
Right.
They make billions of dollars in real estate by manipulating the minds.
That's exactly right. But because if you think about it, people.
He's king of morons.
Yeah, king
He's
of morons, right? If you think about it, people, Mexico is not a threat to us.
No.
Coming into the country is not a threat. These people are not terrorists. These people want to have a better life, better than they had in South America, in Central America. They want to have a better life. They're not a threat. We already have a wall. We don't need a wall, guys. We already have a wall. So you guys are really actually, who voted for Trump, that work in the government, you're actually feeling how awful this guy is. Now, for all the poor white people that live in the South, Kentucky.
I'm shorter than I remember.
I do that on purpose, right?
Yeah, I think old people get smaller.
Guys, now you're going to feel it because you're not going to get your food stamps.
Not only that, but let me say this about that, because you know me quite well. I'm not worried about anybody or anything replacing me at what I do.
Right.
If a Mexican can replace me at what I do, it means that I'm.
You sleep.
It means that y'all got me doing some stuff I don't want to do. You know. Because no one can replace me at what I do because I'm the best at what I do.
See, and that's the problem, Nat. That's an
I ain't
issue.
scared of Mexicans.
Right,
I ain't scared of white people.
Or black
I ain't
people.
scared of black people or anybody.
But see, that's the thing. People don't. See, that's what Donald Trump. That's what he does. He fears.
That is correct.
He fears
That is correct.
that the
That is
Mexicans are
correct.
taking our jobs. First of all, the jobs that the Mexican take, we don't even.
If someone can come in and take your job, it means that you have not fought hard enough to be good at something that you really want to do. That you have settled for this job.
Right.
And if you have settled for this, if you've gotten comfortable with this job, but if you have gotten comfortable with this job, time itself is going to eliminate you
gonna catch up with
and your children.
Right.
The job you're doing now, the government jobs that Trump has just like
held hostage,
pissed all over.
Right. 800,000 jobs. Right.
Federal jobs are at an all-time low anyway.
Right.
They have
they're not paying any money.
They have eliminated, I don't know, 75% of all federal jobs.
Right.
Anyway, so there's only a few federal jobs still left.
Right.
They would like to eliminate the post office altogether.
But the post
there will come a time when they will do that.
But the post office is half government, half federal. They're funded by the government, and it's half private. Because it used to be all government. Now
that is correct. That is correct. And there's a lot of things that they're using the federal government to do that is private industry.
Right. That's exactly right.
That's private industry.
Right. That's exactly right.
They would like to privatize the prison system.
Right.
They would like to privatize.
It's already privatized.
It's already privatized to a large extent.
Right.
They want to privatize the education system.
Right.
They want to privatize the police departments.
Right.
They want to privatize everything because they want to resort to making everybody fight over nickels and dimes in order to feed their family.
But see, that's the way it was designed.
That's the way it's designed.
Where you get them fighting against each other while over here, look at this hand. Why I'm doing this, why I'm stealing from you.
Economics is less math than it is psychology.
You can't say that again, because seriously, because people don't get it.
Economics is less math than it is psychology.
Yes, it is. It is.
There is a plan. There's always a plan. It was never designed to create a better world.
Right.
It is designed that I get all the money all the time and everybody else gets none of it.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, it's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Right.
There was a couple of points in history where, like I said, your stock soars, you pull back.
Right.
You might even go into a serious correction. You might crash. Then you move up a little bit. Right now we are in a serious correction. We might be crashing.
We'll crash before we correct. I believe that. We're going to crash before because in order for a system to correct itself, it has to crash.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. And the things happened in order for there to be a labor movement in the first place.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's manipulated.
Right.
That's right.
The robber barons was going to starve everybody and everything out.
Right.
There was a series of events. Some of those events had nothing to do with planning.
Right.
You know, the robber barons had won, and they were stupid and had Roosevelt. What's his name? The Rough Rider Roosevelt.
Theodore.
Theodore made him the vice president, and they boy died on their ass. You know, and
the crash.
Right.
The crash.
And the fact that what's his name? Morgan? No.
Chase?
Yeah,
Chase.
who was right?
Chase.
Right,
It was Chase, wasn't
right,
it? Morgan.
Right,
It was,
right,
excuse me,
right.
It was Chase. It wasn't Morgan. It was Chase. It was Chase.
They got an opportunity to take Rockefeller and those guys to court,
Right.
and won the court battle,
Right.
and Ford came out, and they were able to unionize.
Yeah, that's right. Now you got to remember too, the 1% that controls 99%.
We've run out of Roosevelt.
Right.
We ain't got no more Roosevelt.
Because Roosevelt was
we
for
need a Roosevelt.
Roosevelt was the man for the people.
Correct.
Because he's the one who said,
Correct.
"I want a chicken in every pot."
Correct. And a lot of the other things that that occurred, like Medicare, and,
Right.
and a lot of the benefits that we have.
Social Security.
Right, because they was working children till they
Right.
died.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Was due to the economy crashing,
Right.
and another Roosevelt instituting, putting things in play that benefited the masses of
Right,
people.
right.
However, the masses of people have been mesmerized with robber baron thieves and liars like Donald Trump,
Right.
and they've been putting these people in place.
Right. But you look at it though, Nat. You got
all
the
of this is
Rothschilds.
being eroded.
You got the Rothschilds. You got the brothers, the Koch brothers.
Right.
You got the Rothschilds, the Koch
Right.
brothers. You got
Right.
the Chases.
Right.
You got the Morgans.
Right.
You got all these guys. These are the people. This is the wealth
Right.
that controls 99% of the
Right.
people. You
Right.
know. So Donald Trump, they all sit back.
Right.
It's not about money for them.
Right.
It's about changing the system.
Right.
That's what this is about. If you look at it, the Rothschilds would never run out of money. The Koch brothers would never run out of money.
The Rothschilds, you talk about, when I talk about it's less math than it is psychology. The Rothschilds became the most preeminent family in the history of the world.
That's right.
Because of the way they bet on the war. They bet on global annihilation and won.
Right.
You
Seriously.
know?
They really sold short.
Right.
They sold short
right,
and won.
Right.
And that's
right.
what that's if
during
people
war,
during the war.
Right.
Right.
It was either we win
Right.
or Britain ceases to exist.
That's right.
Right.
And they bet on that and they won.
Right. And that's where the saying don't buy until there's blood in the street came
Right.
from.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
Until the masses of people are totally convinced that there is no hope at all, when everybody has sold everything they got, that's when we come in and scoop up everything.
And I tell people all the time, guys, you don't have to. I know college is not for everybody.
No.
But just pick up a book and just read. We had to actually physically read and do our homework.
Right.
You got the internet to just look, let me look this up. And you can look up Wikipedia and understand. This is not rocket science, guys.
Right.
No, this system is not rocket science. These guys are morons.
Right.
Like Nat says, he couldn't say it, I couldn't say it any better. Economics is less than math, less
Right.
about math and more about psychology.
Right.
We put it in front of you, you're gonna buy it.
Right.
And if I tell you,
right.
you're gonna tell me,
Right.
and so on and so on, and we're gonna convince.
Right.
What did the devil say? The hardest thing, the easiest thing, the hardest thing to do is convince them that he didn't exist?
Right. Right.
Come
Right.
on.
Right.
I mean, people, wake up.
Right.
See, all you guys say this,
Right.
stay woke.
Right.
The people that say stay woke are asleep.
Right.
You gotta really stay woke. And staying woke means you need to understand first how the system works.
Malcolm X told you, and on the 21st, we, as a matter of fact, today's the 15th.
Today's Martin Luther King's birthday.
Martin Luther King's
Happy birthday, Martin.
We'll be celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday on the 21st. I like to say that when you put Martin and Malcolm together, you end up with most of the equation.
right.
That if you separate them, both of them are less than half of the equation.
But
together, they come up to most of the equation.
But let me, not to cut you off, that's what woke Malcolm up when he left the nation. He woke up and said, you know what? Let me go out. He went to Mecca to see that the Elijah with Muhammad.
That's the part of the equation.
Right, you know where I'm going with that.
That's the part of the equation that that Martin was more in tune to.
Right.
But Martin only had half of the equation.
That's exactly right.
The biggest part of the equation that Malcolm had, and both of those could profit individuals.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
and a lot of the most prevalent parts of the nation's ideology,
Right.
was actually from Marcus Garvey.
Right. That's right.
Up ye mighty ration,
Right.
up ye mighty race.
But it
you
wasn't
can accomplish what you will.
But it wasn't about racism. It was about being self-sufficient.
And that's the part of the equation they brought to it.
Right.
Being self-sufficient. We need that part.
Right.
But there's also a part that Martin brought to the equation that says you cannot be the creature that you hate. That
right.
you have
Absolutely.
to bring love to the equation.
Right.
You have to bring something that separates you. And that's why I say I'm anti-racist.
Right.
Those people who oppress other people, I call out.
Right.
I call out the oppression.
Whether you're black or white.
Martin made mistakes in that he thought love could change other people.
Right. That
It
was wrong.
Can.
Right. But
it can. You have to allow love to work within you.
Right. And not wanting to change other people.
Right. Well,
right.
you can want other people to change. We all want other
right,
people to
right,
change.
right, correct.
But you cannot build all your hopes on whether or not someone else changes.
And to bring it back, that's why Martin was half and Malcolm was half.
See, and
See,
together,
because
you can't be the monster.
That you hate.
It is about human rights.
Right.
It is about how you conduct yourself. But it is also about believing in yourself and becoming self-sufficient.
Right. And still integrate.
Right.
And
right,
still integrate.
Right.
Right.
Well, people will integrate with you.
Right,
People
right,
will,
right. But
People
see,
will
but
be
see, but
forced
Malcolm-
to integrate with you.
But Malcolm wasn't preaching integration at first, and that's what the nation wasn't preaching. Integration. The nation still doesn't preach integration. I'm not a follower of the nation of others.
James Baldwin said it best. James Baldwin said, y'all talk about integration. He said, we've been integrated since we got here.
Right.
Black women was breastfeeding little white
Right,
babies.
right.
How much more integrated can you be?
Right.
You know,
It was the white people that desegregated from us. Think about it.
White people have always maintained a power dynamic over everybody,
Right.
especially black
Blacks.
people.
Right.
And that is the thing about white supremacy.
Right.
That is why I say I could never be a black supremacist.
Right.
Because I do not believe that people are better or not as good based upon where they were born,
Right.
or
Their
how
origin.
dark they are,
Right.
or how
Let
light
me
they
ask
are.
you this. In your opinion,
yeah.
do you think the Nation of Islam is black supremacy?
No.
No, I didn't think so either.
No.
No. Just because, see, and that's where I need people to understand.
I'm not even sure there is really a concept of black supremacy anywhere in black people. I know that there's a lot of black people who resent and are very angry
Right.
about the things that have been done and continue to be done to black people in the name of racism.
But we need to. we need to get out of that anger and turn that anger around.
Well, now you're talking strategy,
Right. Because if the anger will you will self-destruct.
First of all, black people align with too many other oppressed peoples to be black supremacists.
You know what? That's very true. But that's true. And you just said it. You just hit the nail on the head. That anger is
Right.
what gets black people.
Right.
It tears you from the inside because you are angry about what has happened to us in the past.
I understand anger, but you can't allow anything to make you lose focus.
Right. And that's what happened.
there are things that have been done, tragedies that I've faced today that still affect me.
Right.
But I still got to focus because people need me.
And we still got to straight ahead.
And I still got to figure this
But
thing
just,
out.
you know what? Everybody, this is what bothers me is that we're so easy distracted. Like, even to this day, you know, Donald Trump is preaching something over here, and it takes us away from what's really happening. And that's why we always, I don't even like to use focus. I use concentrate, because focus, F-O-C-A, is, of course, you're stupid. That's what I always look at focus as.
Well,
you need to concentrate on and stay the course, because we're easily distracted.
For better or worse, I am the head of my family. And I am not the head of my family because I want to be.
Right.
I am not the head of my family because I am male. I am the head of my family because I am the most visionary and the most dedicated to the well-being of my family in perpetuity.
Right. Right. That's very well spoken.
Anyone in my family can have my job.
Right, right.
You know.
Nobody wants your job.
Nobody wants my job, and there's nobody in my position, in my immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the head of my family was my Uncle Red. He's not alive anymore.
God rest his soul.
But my Uncle Red was the head of the family not because he was the smartest. My father was the smartest.
Right.
Not because he was the most personable. My Uncle Sammy was the most personable.
Right.
My Uncle Red was the most visionary. He had a vision of the family in its totality, of generations beyond his own life.
Right.
And that has borne out in the development of the whole Wood clan.
Right.
Everybody acknowledges that it's all built on my Uncle Red and his wife, my Aunt Petey.
But the Wood clan ain't no joke, though. I know the Wood
clan.
No,
the Wood clan ain't no joke. The Wood clan ain't no joke.
They say it was on their mind.
No.
If you don't know the Woods like I know them.
No. As a matter of fact, my biggest challenge to date was to get back my rightful place in the clan. assert my
where you should be, right?
As firstborn son of the firstborn son.
That's hard, isn't it?
It is very hard. It's very hard. I made a lot of mistakes.
We all
did.
But the difference
but
is
my Uncle Red had an advantage. Just like Don Corleone had an advantage. My Uncle Red had a partner, a life partner, who had the same vision as he had.
Right.
If he had a life partner, if he had chosen a life partner that was only about self,
right,
and not about the well-being of everybody, because they didn't just watch out for their children.
Right.
They watched out for all their nieces and nephews.
The whole clan.
I mean, the whole.
Right.
And there are generations now of Woods who directly come from the philosophy of my Uncle Red.
Right.
And this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be mad.
Right.
But I'm still saying that we have business to take care of.
Right.
And if your anger is holding us back, then I'm gonna have to get somebody else to do your job.
Right. We're gonna have to move next, move around. Right. But you know what? If every family took on, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take rocket science. It doesn't take genius to even have that thought. Do you see what I'm saying? All it takes is sitting down and communicating and having a plan. That's
and you have to have something in you. I mean, you gotta see the world. Right, you gotta have vision. You gotta see things beyond just you.
Right.
You know, and this is what I'm saying. Martin had half the equation. Malcolm had half the equation. You have to believe in yourself.
Right.
You have to aspire.
Right.
You have to push yourself.
Right.
I am always pushing myself.
Wait, you know what?
Always pushing myself.
Guys, just think about this. I push myself to no ends. He pushes himself to no ends. We push each other.
Right.
Guys, we're
Right.
not sitting here thinking that we're
Right.
better than anybody else. Guys,
Right.
we're giving you actually the keys to the kingdom.
Right. Right.
All you have to do
Right.
is take them
Right.
and live them.
Right.
That's just the easiest part, man.
Right. Right.
You know what? You can lead a horse to the water.
Right. Right.
Can't make them drink.
Right. Right.
And that's what I'm saying. As we people of color, everything. I am that saying. I am my brother's keeper.
Right. Right. White supremacy teaches us that some people, that different people, have different abilities based upon contrived things like race
Right.
and geographic location. I don't ascribe to that.
Right.
I say if you put your back into it, you can do anything you want to do.
Absolutely.
You know,
I'm a living example.
And if it takes you twice as long to learn what somebody else does,
Right.
then work 3 times
Right.
longer and beat their ass.
But you know what? The key though, you can't quit.
And you have to believe in yourself.
You gotta
it
believe
starts
first.
with believing in
right.
yourself.
What
and
you can only
everything is
achieve,
designed, right.
what you can believe.
Everything is designed. The school system is designed.
Right.
The peer pressure that you receive is
Right.
designed
Right.
to make you first believe that you cannot accomplish
Right.
it.
Right.
And secondly, to quit trying.
Right.
So the system itself forces you to believe that you cannot accomplish it. It puts different kids in different
Right.
grade
Right.
groupings.
Right.
Some kids,
This
the
is
teacher,
planned.
right. Tell kids that they can't keep
Right.
up.
Right.
Put them in the back of the class.
Right.
Your peer group tells you don't go to school.
Right.
What
Right.
the hell do you need that
That's
for?
all by design.
Right. So the system itself controls what you think about yourself and how hard you work at what you want to accomplish.
And the moreover, and most importantly, is this: just because you run into a roadblock the first, the second, third time, don't be self-defeated.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
You know what? My overnight success took me 25 years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't wake up and become a pilot. I didn't wake up to own the companies I had.
An overnight success is just destined to crash and
That-
burn
anyway,
because
right,
you don't
right.
even know what the hell you're doing.
Right, that's
You
exactly
just
right.
looked up, fell back in it.
You just
and
got it.
you're going to fall back
Right,
out
you-
of it
right,
because
right.
you never learned what you were doing.
Because I tell people all the time, you always have to prepare yourself. Because honestly, if someone gave you $25 million right now, you'll lose it because you don't know what to
Right,
do with it.
right.
That's just the bottom
Right,
line.
right,
Well, listen,
right,
we got
right.
we're running out of time. Let me say this.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this. Guys, you know me. Thank you guys for watching. Happy birthday, Martin. Always do. Believe in yourself. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still among the stars, man. That would take us out.
I didn't even get to Trump and his hamburger.
No, okay, let's do that. We still got Trump. Go do it. Go ahead. We still got 5.
Like I said before, your president.
He's speaking to you guys. He's not talking to me. He's talking to you guys.
His president.
It's not, I don't have a president.
His president is just like he's the moron king. He's king of the morons.
Seriously.
Mr.
Clemson.
Trump. First of all, you've painted yourself into a corner that cannot be resolved because you're trying to blackmail the Democrats into doing what you want. That's never going to happen.
Right.
You've taken negotiation completely off the table by making it a mano
Right.
type deal. But then you invite Clemson to the White House, and you give them Big Macs,
Pizza. French fries.
and cold pizza. You're just so brainless. First of all, this would never happen to Obama,
Right.
Because Obama would not be so stupid as to do what you did. But secondly, Obama would be classy enough to, even if the government was shut down, to make the football team, the Clemson football team's experience in the White House a beautiful experience.
Right, right.
So even if that meant telling them to put their jeans on, that we were going to come and all cook together, and I'd bring the family out
Right,
and bring Ivanka and what's her his Transylvanian wife?
Melania?
Melania. See, I don't even know. They all some Ankas and Alanyas and stuff. But bring them out, barbecue some.
Make it fun.
Right, you know,
make it fun.
barbecue some tofu burgers for the vegetarians or whatever, you know, and make it a real experience.
Right.
But just to come up with some cold food, throw
And then
it on
make
the
it
table,
political.
put some candle, and then make it political.
Right.
People, y'all have really.
We've sunken low. It's too
you
low.
really have. You
Sunken
really
really
have.
low.
You really have. Aside from the fact that America has always been a handful for people of color.
Right.
I gotta say that I've never seen a moron king.
Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
You really like dug way down.
He didn't go that. He didn't go that far.
You
He didn't go
know.
that far. He was already down there.
But he's such a moron.
I think morons are insulted.
No, he's king of morons. He got an army of morons. I mean, that's what he uses. He uses this idiot army. He's like the clown king. That's
We
why
gotta
they
go.
call it the circus.
We gotta go now. Take
you
us out.
know. We got like a minute. You know. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We have a lot more things on the agenda. We didn't even get into all the topics, but we're going to be talking about a lot of the things that we talked about, especially when it comes to human rights and education and bringing us from point A to point B. I don't want to get so far in the weeds that I'm always telling people about what they do wrong. But we got to figure out what we need to do right in order to
And how to get there.
and how to get there, and still maintain our dignity and our humanity, and prove that we are something unique and something special in this world.
Right.
But
Thank you, Nat.
we out. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
brother.
next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
for
much.
tuning in.
Guys, thank you. We will see you next week. Same time, same bat channel.
4,
4,
3,
2, 1. See ya.